Network operators have two big challenges. They need to support the evolving demands of digital businesses, but also ensure the network remains stable and secure. That's no easy task. Current networks are complex. Fragmented, closed architectures impede programmability and the adoption of new technology. A lack of visibility doesn't provide the actionable insights needed for proper planning or troubleshooting. And operators can't keep pace with manual processes, where each change increases the risk of error and downtime. So how can IT deliver? That's where Aruba comes in. With the Aruba CX switching portfolio, a cloud-native networking solution designed for complete operational simplicity. It starts with AOS CX, a microservices-based operating system built for network agility and 100% programmability. AOS CX features a database-driven design and full REST API coverage. It enables tight integration between infrastructure and tools from multiple vendors and helps streamline workflows across multiple systems. The Aruba CX mobile app and Aruba NetEdit add further simplicity. The mobile app speeds up the installation of new switches. One-touch provisioning based on pre-built templates saves time and reduces errors. With Aruba NetEdit, a configuration automation tool, you can roll out network-wide changes with ease and check instantly for errors and policy conformance to improve operator efficiency and network uptime. If problems arise, the Aruba Network Analytics engine helps detect and isolate issues quickly. It captures and pre-processes telemetry directly on each node, so operators get distributed analytics and real-time visibility into network health. NAE also predetermines many first and second order diagnostic actions, so troubleshooters can focus on a targeted set of root causes and resolve issues faster. Aruba CX's unmatched combination of programmability, automation, and analytics simplifies day-to-day operations across the network lifecycle by accelerating new deployments, instantly validating that changes are successful and error-free, enabling software upgrades with zero downtime, and identifying issues and areas for improvement proactively, all with a single operational model from campus to data center to improve IT collaboration and efficiency. Make the switch to Aruba CX to enable a next-gen network operator experience. Find out more at arubanetworks.com/CX. Is your network ready for tomorrow's technology? Like power-hungry Wi-Fi 6 access points or the 3 billion new IoT devices that will share the network by 2023? Legacy network devices won't cut it. They're oversubscribed, and application requirements for higher bandwidth and always-on availability will turn networks into bottlenecks. Legacy networks can't protect users and devices from new security risks. Nearly half of IT organizations say network security policies and segmentation aren't properly implemented. And with 95% of organizations still uncertain about IoT connectivity requirements, legacy networks can't possibly satisfy the needs of the future. There is a solution, and it doesn't require complicated capacity planning or costly rip and replacement of cabling. Time-consuming, error-prone manual configuration of VLANs and ACLs to securely segment traffic, or complex and expensive switch licensing or subscriptions to maintain features you depend on. That solution is the Aruba CX switching portfolio. It's a cloud-native networking solution optimized for IoT and Wi-Fi 6 deployments. Aruba CX switches deliver true wire speed performance on every port. With up to 28 terabits per second and non-blocking bandwidth, there's plenty of capacity for today and tomorrow. Live upgrades and 60-watt always-on PoE feed power to access points and IoT sensors even during scheduled reboots or firmware updates. And to increase capacity over existing infrastructure when you need it, Aruba CX switches come equipped with smart rate multi-gig speeds as well as flexible uplinks, so you can scale from 1 gig to 2.5 gig to 5 gig speeds, with up to 10, 50, or even 100 gig uplinks when your network needs it. Dynamic segmentation technology automatically enforces role-based policies. It's security made simple, keeping traffic for users and IoT devices separate and secure across both wired and wireless networks. This reduces risks from known and unknown IoT traffic while improving user experience thanks to fast, seamless network access wherever users connect. With unrivaled performance, flexibility, and security, the Aruba CX switching portfolio is the solution for powering IoT, Wi-Fi 6, and whatever new technologies the future brings. Avoid bottlenecks with data center class performance for a better user experience. Automatically and securely isolate IoT from other devices and traffic with ease. And future-proof your network investment by boosting capacity as needed. Get ready for the IoT and Wi-Fi 6 future with the Aruba CX switching portfolio. Find out more at arubanetworks.com/CX.
Digital transformation and the mega trends of mobile, cloud, and IoT continue to put immense pressure on the network. Switching has become more mission-critical than ever, transforming from merely a port for a wired device to an aggregation point for multiple Wi-Fi devices and IoT. In this new world, switching platforms designed for the past aren't enough. And upgrading existing infrastructure will only create a larger patchwork of different hardware, operating systems, and management tools, resulting in unmanageable complexity, fragmented operations, and a loss of visibility and control. Instead, enterprises need a next-gen switching architecture, purposefully planned and engineered for the future, one that drives simplicity and efficiency across the network with performance and scale for IoT, cloud, and mobility, programmability to boost IT agility and automation, built-in analytics to speed up planning and troubleshooting, high availability designs for minimal downtime and reliability, and security with easy-to-implement policies that follow users everywhere. The Aruba CX switching portfolio delivers this and more. With a single architecture that spans from edge access to data center, it streamlines network designs and provides a consistent operator experience to eliminate complexity. Its cloud-native design enables automation of common yet complex tasks, such as applying config changes across the network while eliminating errors and validating conformance. Distributed analytics are embedded in every node for intelligent pre-processing of data to deliver real-time insights so operators can quickly detect and resolve issues. Dynamic segmentation enables unified policy and secure access for users and IoT devices across wired and wireless networks. And with high availability built in, there's no downtime, even during upgrades. Don't keep your network locked into outdated platforms of the past. It's time for a next-generation switching portfolio that is intelligent, automated, and scalable. It's time to switch forward with Aruba CX.
All right, good morning, everyone. Let us now welcome and listen to Mickey Barcelon. Mickey is our channel account manager from Aruba, Philippines. Mickey serves as our channel point of contact, and this event was made possible through her. Let us have some applause reactions for Mickey.
Hi everyone. Good morning. Good morning, customers. My name is Micaela Barcelon, but you can call me Mickey. So I'm from Aruba. So I know most of you are working from home, but there are also some who are working from the office. We in HP Aruba, we have been working from home for more than a year now, and we've been conducting virtual events from March of last year. So, like it or not, this is really the new normal, and we are grateful that you found the time this morning to join us for today's webinar. So, for today's session, we would like to share and update you with our CX and data center switches. The IT business might have slowed down this pandemic, but it's here to stay, and we want to make sure that you are equipped and updated with our latest technology. Aruba is on the 15th year of being a leader in Gartner's Magic Quadrant in the wired and wireless landscape. So this means that we are a trusted brand. And hopefully this session will give you more insights and will increase your interest in our wired portfolio. So if any one of you was able to attend our annual event called Atmosphere 2021, it's an annual event, but for the past 2 years, it's been virtual. In that event, our keynote speaker, who's the president and founder of Aruba, which is Mr. Kirti Melkoti, he mentioned about our direction, which is ESP, or the Edge Services Platform, which is powered by automation. Now, the wired portfolio, which we will be discussing today, is the data center and the network switches are included in this automation. And to discuss further, on this topic is my colleague from Aruba, Philippines, Mr. Edward Salas. So Edward has recently joined us, the Aruba team, but he's not new to the IT industry. So he has almost 15 years of experience in IT in various capacities. He was a Cisco product manager and a pre-sales engineer and senior technical engineer in various companies for the past 5 years. And then before joining Aruba, he was with Allied Telesis Philippines Inc. as a senior pre-sales and technical specialist for almost 10 years. So without further ado, I turn you over to our main speaker, Sir Edward. If you have, again, we are looking forward to your active participation.
Uh,
Edward.
Thank you so much, Mickey. No? So, good morning, everyone. I'm Edward Salas. I'm one of the Aruba SE. So, as Mickey mentioned, I'm quite new. Di naman yung siguro mga mag-go 1 year na, pero bago pa rin yun. Anyway, so this morning, I'd like to share yung switch forward natin or yung Aruba switching portfolio. So, this is a new offering from Aruba. This is a new line of switches. So, I'm gonna share my screen. So, as mentioned, yeah. So, our topic for today's session will be about our Aruba CX portfolio. So today or right now, we live in an edge cloud era where cloud and mobile have been highly adopted over the last decades or so. So most enterprises are living in a hybrid world or what we call on-prem and cloud-based equipment. So there are a lot of equipments already is that we have to deal with. So also come with that, we have a lot of different challenges moving towards mobile and cloud. So and lately, yung mga IoT devices, it has picked up very well. Okay, so the number of devices and things being connected to the network is just exploding. So coming from both wired and wireless perspective, it's quite difficult to manage already. So in this edge cloud era, we're already hearing from our customers a lot of challenges. So that we're looking also to solve this problem, and we can help you with this by our six portfolio by simplifying the operations. But before that, we already have a lot of challenges in the edge. Okay, so what are these challenges? So let's talk about some of the challenges typically faced by our clients of the edge. So first, we have this what we call technology silos that would hinder our agility. So we're seeing a huge problem with the technologies hindering a lot of in a different ways. So what would be the best example? So best example would be there would be one manufacturer that runs the network for data center, a separate manufacturer or different brand for the campus network, and everything has a different operating system. So we will have to handle all of this. And then if we have this different operating system, it would require different expertise. So that would mean additional IT staff or additional skills that would increase complexity and makes it very difficult to accomplish things. So these technology silos is what really stops you, the agility. So what we want to do is just to unify them. Okay. Second was we're seeing increase in security threats. This is really common. Okay, so even in social media, even in anywhere. So we've seen complaints that there's attack. Like, okay, so the attack surface also has become bigger and bigger. So if you have heard of or have you have attended our atmosphere just recently, so they have mentioned that probably they would the attacks would also be in the VR or be in the AR. So even in the cloud, it will also move there. So it's quite intimidating. Or so what we have to do is we have to do a what we call a preventive measures to do that. Okay, so since the attack surface has become bigger and bigger, and also more devices added in a daily basis on the perimeter of our network, which is also expanding to all rapid rapidly to all sorts of different places now. So we have to secure the parameter. Okay, so third one would be lack of network automation and visibility. So this is also another problem that we're seeing. So this is not an Aruba observation alone, but from an industry analyst like Gartner. Okay, so they look around. There's a huge problem with manual work to configure. So I think I would also agree with Gartner that there's a lot of manual work we have done today, especially to the network. Okay, so Gartner mentioned that there are only 18% of the network changes today are automated, and that it means that simple routine change to the network can be done in an automated way. However, very small percentage of those changes are being done in an automated way. Okay, so in fact, Gartner said that this is one of the largest risk to network stability and uptime. So that small percentage is only around 2%. So this is the reason, or this is a problem, because majority of these unplanned network outages are actually caused by human error. Okay, so lastly, okay, so this one is relatable as of today. So we have what we call economic and resource headwinds. So under the challenge we see is the economic and resource headwinds. This is a reality because in the IT budget has been cut. Probably more common would be 30%. So we have only around 70% that is dedicated to the IT budget. Okay, so and it's not been increasing. So we are asked to do more. So while the budget has not gone up, the IT has asked me to deliver increased capacity over and beyond the budget can actually afford. So also, the access to capital becomes difficult for our customers or for you guys, and it's no longer easy to justify the investment in technology. So we have to deliver new skills and also capability. So without the right resources, it's hard to get the right skill set on the team and upscale the IT worker right skill set. So with this one, we have to come up with some initiatives. Okay, so what can we do to help you with these challenges at the edge? So we've come up with what we call Aruba Edge Services Platform. So I'm gonna explain to you the layers of this before introducing the pillars. Okay, so first we have this the the connectivity layer. Okay, so or what we call the underlay. So it consists of the hardware and the infrastructure. So basically the wireless, the wired or the switches, the WAN components, our routers, our firewall, the WAN components in the network. So it is the IP infrastructure that allows the device to communicate from one end to the of the network to the other. No, so second would be the policy layer. Okay, so or what we call overlay. So it consists of the unified policy that works over the IP based and it's already automated. Okay, so it can automatically bring up yung tunnels to our remote site. So this is the one that we use with our technologies such as like dynamic segmentation. This is the one we use with our ClearPass or the ClearPass device inside. Okay, so the third one or the top one is what we call the cloud services or application services layer. Okay, so it is primarily our Aruba Central. So it consists of the tools needed for onboarding, provisioning, orchestration, or analytics, location, and also management of that network. This is important because this is the one that will make us easy to orchestrate our network daily, or this is the one that makes our lives easier on a daily basis. Okay, so after that, after we created this whole architecture, we have what we call your ecosystem applications. So the applications that we're using every day. So it may be a third-party vendor, but we can integrate this with our Aruba platform using our northbound APIs or what we have, like example, outbound applications is Zscaler. So we can use it for advanced threat and management. Also, the other application that we can integrate is ServiceNow for ticket creation that can also be easily accommodated. Okay, so introducing our Aruba ESP platform or Aruba Edge Services platform. So first is we have this three pillars. The first pillar would be unified infrastructure. Okay, so unified infrastructure is mentioned, as mentioned, is the whole connectivity layer. So it can handle any deployment, or it can be wired, or it can be wireless, or SD-WAN. So our objective for this is we have to manage this in a single pane of glass. Okay. Secondly, we need to apply, after having our unified infrastructure, we need to apply zero trust security network framework. So as mentioned earlier, the security threat is rising. So what it means is that we can no longer build a parameter that just expect every device outside the perimeter to be untrusted. So before kasi, ang ginagawa lang natin is put a firewall and then we expect that okay, it's working. So what about the devices inside the network? Okay, so the devices inside our perimeter of our network is already trusted. So now we trust no one. We have to have a zero trust approach for every single device, be it inside or outside the network. Because nowadays we don't know that even in cell phones or even laptop or tablets, they're bringing vulnerabilities in our network. Okay. So the third thing is we have what we call the AI-powered operations. Okay. So we need to enable the AI-powered operations, and this AI-powered operations bring the sixth sense to a secure unified network in order to give efficiency and ability that our network has not doesn't have before. Okay, so bringing insights onto AI, okay, to look at different pattern and recognize trends to offer network environments. Okay, so what it can do, it will allow IT to do more with less. Okay, so it will also gives us the ability to see things before they happen. We can ID the problem. So before, we are just reactive. So we want to have a new approach. We want to be proactive. Okay, so it can also give recommendations and improvement because it's continually optimizing the network. So that would be probably like biggest tool we have because actually we're not optimizing our network every day or we're not optimizing every month. So this tool or this AI-powered operations is very helpful to us. Okay, so the last attribute, or I would say the last pillar, would be financial and consumption flexibility. So how do we gain or how do we help you guys to deploy this instantly? So we already have what we call HPFS, and Green Lake. So it will be easier for you that we can help you through subscription based. It could be software as a service or probably network as a service, we have the options there to mitigate resource limitations. This is very important because nowadays I know everyone or every company has a limited IT budget. Okay, so also we can offer you flexible financing through HPAFS. Okay, so with that you can probably contact one your sales guy from Fail Data, or you can contact us immediately about the information of HPE Financial Services. So it can help you mitigate budget barriers and also allow access to equipment quickly. So I'll just explain a little bit of this pillar before going to our topic, which is the CX switching portfolio. Okay, so the AIOps. Okay, so the goal of our AIOps is to free up network admin from the repetitive jobs to do more, as said, and with less. Okay, so it will allow us or allow our people to focus more on important things such as planning, strategy, or probably pick up a new course because we're already tied up with the daily things that we're doing and we're doing it manually. Okay, so also what really differentiate us from the rest of the competition is our AI engine. So we have a purpose built telemetry from Aruba. This is coming from our devices. Okay, so which continuously also enhanced not just by our decades of experience, but also building the networks, but what we call our own machine learning models. Okay, so our AI solutions is based on the real world problems on not just the machine learning model. So if you can see here, we have already a lot of basis to do that because to do AI or AI ops, you have to do a lot of like data to support your AI engine, or what we call this the pool of data. So we have already around 1 million devices. Okay, so that comes in the cloud. So also coming from that, we have around 55 client devices connected, and we have already a probably say we can know what application to use, and I would say that no other competitor comes this close. Okay, so we also have around 65,000 customers connected already. Okay, so this one, this is AI Insight. So how can it help you? So AI Insight will help you to tune and optimize your network based on peer comparison. So, like for example, if you have a similar network or setup as yours to other customers, we can provide you with the right recommendation to optimize your network. So that would be easier, right? So we didn't know that there's a problem there, or we didn't even know that there's a problem with the configuration. So it will continuously optimize our network. Okay. So the next we have is AI search. So the data is already there. So the problem is how do we get that data? Okay. So what do we do as of today is we do it manual. We do it by clicking. So to reduce that click counts, we use what we call the natural language search. So as we call like similar to Google search, or probably say in the next few years we have Google Voice or something. So we can do this, or we can use this at ease. Okay, so we can use the information. We can click the user, like who is connected on AP1 or who's connected on the switch. So we can see everything that's wrong with the user. So typically, upon troubleshooting, we'll look onto the client. Okay, sir, let's try to do this. Let's try to check this. Okay, but we don't really know what's happening. So it will be a tool for you guys to be to easily search what's really happening to the user or what's his problem. Okay, so and also it will reduce the click count to get that information that we need. Lastly, we have AI Assist. So what is this AI Assist? It's a very important tool to accelerate troubleshooting. So by automating the process of collecting logs and critical alerts, and also we can send them automatically to our TAC. So the problem nowadays is we have an intermittent problem, and it happened probably in the wee hours of the morning, probably 2 a.m., and we are not there. So how would we know that? Okay, so we have to request overtime. Boss, I will go there just to see that problem. Okay, and of course we're working from home, most of us. So that is not possible nowadays. So The AI assist will help you like gather logs and collect it automatically. And at some point, if it's very critical, it will send automatically to our TAC. Then in the next morning, you will just receive an email. Okay, hi, this is Jason from TAC. I already looking into your problem, something like that. So that is very useful, right? So all of this I mentioned is just a journey. So um, we can benefit this sooner or later because this is part of our Aruba ISP journey. Okay, so zero trust technology or security. Okay, so this one today we're already doing it. So we're using our policy enforcement firewall in our controller, which is one also of the secret sauces of Aruba. So now we have to, like example, connect a device. So what will we do is we'll have to provide specific policy. So before, what we're doing is just more of security per VLAN, but now we can implement it with the role-based policy. Okay, so it will be the same if you're connecting to this wired switch or the wireless over the, or like even for you're connecting working from home over the WAN network. Okay, so what this means is what your experience as an employee doing our daily jobs in our office will be the same if we work from home or even if we travel from a remote office. So we will get the same policy to what we have or enjoying right now in the office. And it's really a valuable solution. So we get to get the experience everywhere. So like for example, even if we're working from home, we can probably say we can deploy a remote AP or a RAP. So we don't have to connect VPN. We just have to connect with that wireless access point or that RAP, and then voila, we will already have access going back to our network because we've implemented the zero trust security. So as you can see, with that, with the role-based policy, it will determine us if it can access like yung Office 365 natin, if it will allow you to our internal records, or we can also what we call say keep the disallow the devices that are not updated. So those devices that are turned off with their firewall or they have not updated the Windows. So we can do that. Also, we can segment the IoT devices or what we have in the office like cameras or printers or TV or anything else. Okay, so this is the good thing about what we call the zero trust security. So lastly, the unified infrastructure will also relate to our topic today. So it's just the single unified architecture across our campus or other branch or either data center. So or even the remote worker. So it's just everything that we have. So our objective is to manage this under the single pane of glass, and we will have a single unified data lake for that. Okay, so no more bouncing from tool to tool, which is what we're doing right now. We're doing one screen to another screen to gather data. Okay, so and also the information will be correlated. Okay, so it's also displayed in the context where we are allowed to quickly get the information that we really need. Okay, so this is all of the three pillars. Okay, so I will now proceed with our topic, which is the CX. Okay, so CX is also part of this. The Aruba CX switches is part of this unified infrastructure. Okay, so first, let's give an overview on how we can get the intelligence of automated intelligence and how we can improve the network. So you would ask, ano ba talaga? I mean, we're using for probably for years our switches, and then what's with new with your switches? Okay, so our switches is now is what we call built-in cloud native principles. So what is this term? So you would wonder, cloud, is it living in the cloud or is it deployed in the cloud? No, this where the concept or the software is built. Okay, so according to Gartner here, the cloud native device should have what we call modularity. So what is modularity? So from the perspective itself, we built everything, every feature, every process as independent within the operating system. and also they interact independently with the network state database. So that really provides us with the ability to innovate faster and bring new features out. So, you know, it can also be more helpful to you for our customers. Okay. So next one would be programmability. So on programmability perspective, this is the really key to unlocking automation. So as I mentioned earlier, this is what we're lacking. So our CX switch is built fully programmable to 100% RESTful API, so we can integrate with other software or other programs. Okay, so there's a modeling for every basic function of the switch. So we can have that connected to a Python or your whatever you would like to connect it. Okay, so next is the resiliency. So the fact that we have built this independent process with a microservices-based design is very stable and reliable operating system. So you don't have a lot of inter-process communication. So the problem is if you have something or were to fail, so what we can do, we can gracefully restart independently versus to having the bring down the whole network or bring down the whole switch. So that's we have what where have our resiliency is. Last one would be elasticity. Elasticity. Okay. So as you will see, you get to know with our CX portfolio, we've already proven that scalability and elasticity of our CX operating system, that we can deliver this portfolio or this this device into a single piece of cloud native software. So our offering for this one, since we're elastic, we can span from access or campus or even to the core switches going to the data center. That's how elastic our models or our portfolio is. So with the foundation that we're able to build, okay, so with this one, we already innovated some more of software coming from a software perspective. So this is a really focus in terms of simplifying our operator experience and providing with you with the control and visibility that you're looking for. So next one is resiliency. So probably this has been discussed before. You're familiar with it. So this is actually done by a virtual chassis, and because that the database the driven office been OS. Okay, so based on our CX architecture, we're not getting only the high availability, but we also get the ability to get it without compromise. So we can leverage technology such as like MCLAG or config synchronization, or we can use this Aruba network analytics engine. So we'll also have to explain a little bit of this. So as mentioned, we can also integrate or leverage the REST. This is the REST integration, and also can also leverage the CLI. So we can also orchestrate upgrade. So this will deliver the promise of what we call in-service software update. So that's important also because we would like to have a zero downtime. Okay, so no maintenance window are required. I believe that in our probably in our daily practice, we would like to have that live upgrade, but somehow we're still kind of afraid or skeptical to do that. But actually, we can do that live upgrade at say the less more of affected time of your network. I mean, time of your office, probably at night. So since also like live upgrades matter in the core, just as they do in the Wi-Fi, and our CX portfolio delivers it. Okay, so the next kind of resiliency. Okay, so actually we have what they call this the virtualization or stacking. So first is this VSX. Okay, the second one would be BSF. So what's the difference between the two? So the VSX is for the core switches. Okay, so it will be just for live upgrades for the two switches. But this BSF is going to be implemented in the access level or probably in the distribution level. Okay, so it's implemented so that two chassis will have a single plane control plane, which can simplify our configuration of the two devices or more. So it will lower the network availability during upgrade or we can have what we call the live upgrades, or same as the live upgrades in the VSX. Okay, so we feel that this approach is best served to, as mentioned, and the access layer, or part of the distribution switches. Okay, so so basing on this BSF, we can probably stack 10 units of 6300. Okay, so we can stack 8 units of 6200, but they're not allowed to stack, or we cannot have mix of 6200 and 6300 in stacking. So this is just the same stacking as we have now today in our ARC switches. Okay, so I think the different one would be the VSX. So this is just the same. Okay, so next feature would be distributed analytics and automation. So before, what we do with other switches is just plug and forget. But now, with this switching portfolio, we have what we call already is analytics and information. So what we can do to help you with this? Okay, so with this one, with our legacy approach. So before, if we're gonna troubleshoot a problem, so we're doing it manually, right? So with this one, we're doing the CLI. So it will also be hard because we'll probably doing, say, okay, type, and then we will need to do the right timing. So it would be somehow same as finding the needle in the haystack, because it's really hard to pinpoint the problem or to get the problem by just doing the probes or probably doing show commands. Okay, so next would be what we do is we can do telemetry streaming. So the problem with this is probably we can have a large of unfiltered data which can cause that latency in the network. So the cause or the effect would be delays in the data processing and analysis. Okay, so what we have also done is already doing third-party monitoring tools. But what can it do since it's a third-party brand? So we're doing a manual correlation, and it doesn't have like more of it just have limited actionable insights. Okay, so the resource intensive with also like longer mean time to repair. So now with the CX approach, we have this what we call Aruba Net Edit. So with Aruba Net Edit, with the help with the network analytics engine that's integrated already in our switches, we can have this real time or even network wide. So somehow, since this is automated and already with rapid detection for issues, so we will somehow like we'll have a 24/7 network technician that's built into every switch. So this is very helpful if you have the net edit, because it will give you the visualization of where the switch has a problem. So this one, what I'm citing is like, for example, we're troubleshooting a problem here, or probably say, example here, we have a fire, so we can relate that to the network. A user is complaining that the video chat is not working, so we have to start. Okay, so like, what is the talk or issue? So is there a memory leak? Probably is it a PC? Is it a network? So we have a lot of somehow things to consider of what really the problem is. So using NAE, we will know where available users or devices are they connected to the access layer. So somehow we can probably pinpoint, okay, there's your problem. There's the switches that there's that's having a problem. So at least it will help you easily solve your network problem with a quick visual help of that will give you the easy to use dashboard also to pinpoint the issue. So I have a video here, a short video for an example of our network analytics engine on how it is applied on your network. Okay. Okay. By the way, did you hear the sounds? Is it having a sound?
What if we could have intelligent scripting agents active in the network looking for poor application performance, such as poor video quality? With the network analytics engine, it's able to monitor the system, such as high priority traffic queues. When it detects an anomaly, it can proactively start collecting additional statistics and data to analyze a problem when the problem's happening. This allows you to keep your network up and running, troubleshoot problems faster, and deliver a better experience for users. It's like having a 24/7 network technician in your network. The agent for this application shows a critical alert. The agent auto-generates a report that provides deep insights. In this case, a service impact analysis and root cause analysis. The service impact analysis gives us visibility to any clients whose service has been impacted, and here it shows a few clients with low MOS scores. The root cause analysis shows us a single source generating a ton of SSH traffic. Now, there's clearly something wrong with SSH traffic in a high priority queue. In addition to the relevant historical data, it's also overlaid with config changes. If it's a configuration error, you'll catch it right away. And in this example, that looks to be the case. The scripting is powerful and insightful while also extending to the access layer of Aruba switches connected to the core. If an anomaly is service impacting, with easy and simple integration, you could even get notified by SMS, troubleshooting the problem before users start calling. As you've seen, this game-changing switch built on Aruba OS CX will change the way you operate your network, accelerating troubleshooting and keeping the network performing at its best.
So what's the best thing about NAE? So NAE is it's in every switch, it's in every box. So that's why it's very helpful for you guys. Okay, so mas maganda siya kasi like before, what we can do comparison to that is our intelligence or the analytics would be just on the management side, nasa software lang, so overall. So with this implementation, we can be very we can secure the analytics because it's in every box. So now we can save time and reduce the risk. So comparing with this legacy approach and the CX approach, so we already have like so for the legacy we have like translate audit findings and like can identify config templates. So all of this, okay, so will be transforming or will help you with the CX approach. So we'll probably say we'll minimize this all of this approach into probably 2 steps. Okay, so translate audit findings and specific config changes, then make changes using simple GUI driven workflows and a PAN network. So yun kasi yung mahirap pag naka-command line tayo, ang daming gagawing manual related work. But with this one, using or helping with our net edit, it will not only make you help you like make your configuration, it will also validate it. Okay, so I don't think we have done that with the command line scripting. So this net edit will help you on that. Okay, so the next approach would be also we have what we call the CX mobile. So this is very interesting because nowadays we're using our mobile, but we haven't noticed that we already have this also been using this for our switches. Okay, so what does it do? It will eliminate you bringing console cable to your data center or to your when you're troubleshooting. Before, I'm also doing that. I'm bringing laptop and my console cable everywhere. Okay, so now I can use this. Why? I mean, how do I do it? Because our switches was already what we call Bluetooth capability. So meron tayong naka USB port na lagyan natin ng parang USB dongle. So it will connect with our phone. So what we will do is we'll just download this application. It's available in iOS or in Android, and it's free. Okay, so using this, we can help like deploy and manage our Aruba switches on a day 0 basis. So like in a day 0, so pagbili pa lang, pwede natin gamitin to. Okay, so it will also help you make it easy to import the configuration to the net edit for intelligent configuration management and continuous conformance validation, so to our overall network health. So there are a lot of basic functionalities we can do here. So probably say we can connect to a terminal emulator or console port. of the switch. So we have also built-in configuration templates that will save and cut down on errors. So we also have here, like example, configuring host name, some interfaces, the NTP, web server, and etc. No, so we can do a lot of things here for the day zero configuration. So it can also integrate, as mentioned, with the Aruba Net Edit. Okay, so that will allow us for the intelligent and validated configuration conformance. So you can also quickly check the POE budget and utilization of the network switches. Guys, remember, this is just more of for configuration. This is not for management, okay? So you can have auto detection of the potential BSF stack members. So now the stacking will be automated and the stack links will go make it like independent from the switches to a virtualized stack. So we did just a few steps. So with this one, as mentioned, we can do this by having a connectivity via Bluetooth or probably say Wi-Fi. So we can also have this like connected to the Wi-Fi by entering the IP address of the switch. Okay, so now with this one, okay, so the net edit and the plus the CX mobile app, it will help us deploy the zero-day config. So that's also help us view and manage the devices at some point, a little bit for the mobile, but more of managing the network. So it's not a fully would say NMS. It's more of just managing the switches, but it can give you a topology of your all connected switch. And I would say this is only just for the CX switches. Okay, so now it can, aside from that topology, can also provide you with a simple green and yellow, red indication or indicator to the status of your network. So we can drill that to that health and also look specifically like application health, device health, maybe checking on your network service health, or also like there's a lot of what they call yung mga na-mention ko earlier. So the NAE or Network Analytics Engine. So we have installed some agents there that we can be able to monitor directly from this what we call the net edit. Okay, so for this one, we'll be moving on for the dynamic segmentation. So what is dynamic segmentation? Okay, so the reason that we're doing this is IoT is a use case that we're driving the need for more and more like segmentation. So nowadays, 80% of the IT organization, this is according to Gartner, okay, noted that they found IoT devices on their networks that they did not install or secure or manage. Or probably I would say that person has just forgotten every device that he installed in the network. Or shall we say, that's right, there are other people bringing in devices to the network. Okay, so this says that only 80% of that is detected. The 20% goes unknown. Okay, so and also with that unknown, it brings us the vulnerability of our network. Okay, so that's what we have to deal for this one. So and also 90% of that is publicly reachable IP with the cameras. Okay, so we have read that before that there are also news or articles that the cameras are also the source of the vulnerability to our network. So thus, we bring this what we call dynamic segmentation. Also, the reason being is we have the network complexity of configuring these things. So, for example, what we're doing today is we're doing a lot of VLANs. Okay, so I would make or create a VLAN for employee. So for employee, I will have to subdivide them: engineering, accounting, sales, executive, and contractors, and everything. So I will have also to do a VLAN for my devices. Okay, so we have a lot of VLANs to deal with, and we will have a lot of policies for each of that VLAN. Okay, so on my own words, parang ang hirap niya na magmamanage tayo and gagawa. So every devices or every segmentation, we will have to make a policy for that. Okay, so what we'll do is small. This is like this in a wireless world that we can determine the role, user role, or yung policy that does work well. So that's why we introduced this Aruba controller. So what it can do is it can build an overlay that would contain all those user or device context when we can move different places or network locations. So now we're optimizing layer 3 roaming and improving a user experience on the network. So also, it's also simplifying the IT configuration, okay? So this is on the wired side. So we're applying what the wireless technology has, like the role-based policy, onto the network, okay? So now we call it what we call the colorless port. So like before, if you will plug into this port, you will have this policy. But for example, if you move the cable to the other port, it will follow with the policy. So this is what I mentioned also with the zero trust security earlier. So the dynamic segmentation allows you to have a dynamic policy that creates yung microsegments based on the device type or user role. So it is a very rich in context. It can also like probably say give you an access if this person is working in a day, or probably I will not give him access out of his shift if he's going to the office at night. And I would say also based on location. So if I'm connected to the switch in this building A, if I'm connected to the building B, it won't give me access to the network. So that's how rich, or that's how we segment our network at ease. Okay, so this is a very powerful way to segment our network. So without having to do a lot of manual configuration. So they're being built dynamically for devices based on the policies that are set and are also applied to the end-to-end to across the network, including the wireless and the uh, wired. Okay, so what we can do is here we have all of this already set in our ClearPass Policy Manager. So for all of you probably wondering ClearPass Policy Manager, or for those who have not heard it, so ClearPass is a powerful software that can help you like help you with your network security. So it will also act as a authentication server, or probably as a radio server. Okay, so it's a best-in-class security. So it also and it can also automate profiling and onboarding of devices for policy enforcement. Okay, so since we have this, we already have what we call centralized policy. So it can define the rules that leverage the user, either the device or either the application, or either location data in one place. Okay, so this is the benefit of having the dynamic segmentation. And the next good reason is, why would I do, or what are the reasons why I would do the dynamic segmentation? So first is we can secure IoT devices. So as mentioned earlier, there's a lot of IoT devices already. So we have to segment them in order to secure tunnels to protect the IoT and protect the critical clients traffic. So second would be a better consistent user experience. So as mentioned, when like for example, if you want to move or you want to transfer to any other places in the office, you can have consistent policy, or like for example, you have the same policy all over, because the role-based policy is in place, and authentication and enforcement delivers the same policy consistent wherever you are. Okay, so simplify operations. So this would be probably good for the network that's maintaining the network, because it can save time and reduce configuration errors by eliminating manual and static configurations of VLANs. So gone are the days that we have to manually configure VLAN and ACL for each switch. Okay? So yun yung pinakamahirap, tedious yung mag-implement na policy. So I would agree with you guys that implementing policy or security is very good for the network, but it's very tedious, and I would say there's a lot of risk that we have to do for that because we're doing it manually. Okay, so we can also ensure branch security by utilizing the zero trust policy for switches. So or specific for port or for user. Okay, so we also can take advantage of the built-in controller. So guys, if any of you have a built-in controller, so we can take advantage of that. So we can use it as a gateway. So that's having a feature like firewall. So we can do packet inspection and fingerprinting for wired and wireless traffic. Okay. So also we don't have to redo everything for that because we can just probably say we have an overlay architecture solution. So it will just enable us smooth integration and existing segmentation such as VLAN. So that means no ripping, no removing, or no placing of entire switching infrastructure. So it can exist with your it can coexist with your existing VLAN segmentation. Okay, so this is easy. So we have the building blocks, we have the clear paths, we have the controller, we have the access point, and we have the switches, and we can combine all of this and deploy it in any types of vertical market, be it in campus, public venues, branch, or maybe hotel or the hospitality industry. We can also deploy it in the retail store or hospital. So this is very good for you. Okay, so like for example, um, I think I have a noise. Sorry for that. Okay. So so with this one, we can mix and match all of these devices and deploy it with these types of vertical industry. Okay. So next one would be the Aruba Central. So excuse. Let me just probably. I think it's gonna. Sorry. Okay. So okay. So just bear with me, guys. I'm already almost finished. So next one will be the Aruba Central. So our Aruba Central would be the native single pane of glass console. So that's our main objective. So if you can remember the unified infrastructure, which starts with the Aruba Central, which is a cloud native single pane of glass console. So this is where the magic happens. This is where the AI ops and like processing of our AI. Okay, so so now what we can do with this is we can have automation that can simplify network operations. So it can also accelerate provisioning and onboarding. So we have the um, also like for example happening for the zero trust configuration or zero trust policy of our devices. So we can also streamline workflows. So by having with our orchestration automation, so we can make configs and changes all at once and push it on the device. So mas madali because before what we do with our management is we're having a problem if we're doing it like outside the site, no? So yun yung problema natin. So also we have enhanced monitoring and network-wide intelligence. So as I mentioned, we already have the AI ops in place with our Aruba Central. So it can just gather all those telemetry that has been given out by our Aruba devices. Okay, so it will give you the real-time insights in the network-wide health across the sites. Okay, so with that, we can also integrate with other leading IT platforms. So like for example, as mentioned, ServiceNow, Slack, or even Ansible for our programming. So we can do the webhooks and APIs to make it easy to automate the third-party tools. Okay, so this is more of the management side now that we're coming into the cloud. So also, as mentioned, the apps already, as I explained a little bit earlier, we have AI search, we have AI insights, and we have AI assist that will help you to get on your daily tasks that will help you predict like the issues before they will have an impact on your network. Okay, so we will have a preventive actions before that. So we can also get the root cause and the resolution faster. So we can preempt the future issues. So we can also eliminate the change and the impact guesswork because um, what's the advantage of this? Because like for example, if you wanna do changes in our network or configuration, so medyo manghuhula tayo sa outcome, no? So mahirap yon. So at least it can give you that view already. Okay, so we can have the also the deliver the best user experience possible. Okay, so we can also optimize the networks using the machine learning based on peer benchmarks. Okay, so with this one, I think this is so now we can deploy it as a, or be flexible on how you can deploy it in network. So first we have this what we call a software as a service. So that's where you have to pay on subscription. So in the cloud, you can also deploy it on premise if you don't want, or you're not confident deploying it in the cloud. So we can have on-prem. So we have central on-prem. Okay. So we also have, we can deploy it in a managed services. So it can be that there's a field data will help you monitor everything. So we can just probably say will be manage everything for you. Okay. We also have the Green Lake or Aruba. This is a package product. So where we include all the devices and all of this management. So what you have to do worry is just have to pay it like probably on a monthly basis. Okay. So we'll go next to our portfolio. So okay. So what we have do to our portfolio is probably before you will have a different switch for every like for example architecture. So you have will have multiple OS to manage. You will have software licensing headaches. Okay. So now with our approach, we streamline it. So we will use one switch portfolio from the campus or for each type. So going to the data center. So we will have simplified device, no software licensing. So it's also having a data center class performance. Okay, so also have improved IT efficiency. So this is our all of our portfolio for the CX. We have 6100 going to 6300 for access switches. And for our core switches, we can use 6400. And for our data center, we can use the 8300 and 8400. Actually, some of this will maybe overlap. Like, for example, in the instance that you will want to use this 8300 and the 8400 onto your core network, it can be possible because nowadays, like, for example, you want to have a high switching bandwidth or high switching capacity because you're using the net of it for the surveillance. Okay, so it's possible because it can be used for campus or either for the data center. So what architecture that is up is using our seventh generation ASIC. Okay, so our Gen 7 ASIC is built over 30 years now. So we have our own intellectual property. So it's the seventh generation. So the basic technology from HP and Aruba, which help us deliver the innovation and to our customer. Okay, so a glimpse of what has been the history of our ASIC heritage. Okay, so this is the first gen coming from the 1996. And I think moving forward, we're here already. So we're using the sixth generation for our AOS switches, which is still actually existing. And also, as mentioned, we have the seventh generation for our CX switches. Okay, so it's also a future-ready power at the speed of a access layer. So, like for example, if you want to reuse your network, the cables, I mean, so you want to take advantage of having a multi-gig speeds. So you can also have the 60 watts per port because nowadays there's a lot of devices that's consuming more power. Okay, so like the cameras, so you can consume up to 61 watts per port. So because it's function like pan, tilt, zoom. So there's a lot of also devices that having that kind of requiring that kind of power. So with this one, with the advent of the Wi-Fi 6, we can also take advantage with what we call the smart rate for our switches. So we can now have 2.5 or gigs on the port or 5 gig speed going to your access point. So I can even see that nowadays there are motherboards or there are computers that have the NIC cards going for 5 gig. Okay, so this is actually more of coming. Coming up to the net. So probably I would say the next 5 years, the next 10 years, we'll probably be using 2.5 already instead of 1 gig. So yeah, that would be the future. Okay, so also as mentioned, we can leverage this model for our access switches to be top of rack switching or for 1 gig deployments or even as a out of band management. So Ang kagandahan nito is we have what we call the power to port airflow or back to front. So instead of this switch, kung napansin mo, nakatalikod, so mas madali i-wire yung mga servers natin doon kasi nasa likod din yung ports ng server. Okay? So we will have also high availability for this 63. We have 10, 25, or 50 gig uplinks. So we will not compromise any bandwidth with this. So we can integrate this with the HPE portfolio, like for example, the pan HPE solutions such as Synergy, SAP HANA, or Crayshasta as their out-of-band management. Okay, so starting with 6100, this is for entry-level access and for distributed enterprise and SMB. So this is more focused for SMB. So this cannot be stocked. So we have 5 models for this. We have 48 ports, we have 24 ports, and this 12 ports. Okay, so this is this is only layer 2. This is ready for simple deployment of like PoE, IoT, or just having 10 gig uplink. So yun yung maganda dito. So the next one would be 6200. So the 6200 is the next gen family of stackable switches. So this can be stacked already. So it will be using, that's what I mentioned, the BSF technology. So it's ideal for enterprise, branch offices. You can use this as campus or like SMB networks also. So we have 5 models for this switch category. So we have 24 ports and 48 ports. So actually, the use case for this is you can use it as access switch. Okay, so but the only limitation is you can have only the 1 gig on each port. So if you want to have the smart rate, okay, so we can offer you the 6300. Okay, so this will be having the smart rate capability, the 1 gig. I mean the at the ports like 2.5 gig and the 5 gig. So we can offer also redundant power supply for this one. So now we can offer you with the 60 watts always on PoE. So what does always on PoE? So even if you, like for example, reboot the device and yung sa switch, I mean yung device andun pa rin yung PoE nun. So yun yung problema kasi. So mag-reboot ka, ang problema mo ma-shutdown or ma-turn off yung device. But with this one, it will be always on. Okay, so it's also critical. So with this model, we can have SFP56 uplink ports, or we can leverage this 50 gig ports. Okay, so we can stack this up to 10 members or up to 10 units. Okay, so we have what we call the modular and the fixed model for this one. So the next one will be for our core switches, the 6400. So as you can see, it's 15 times more bandwidth. So it's a lot of modules so that you can choose. So we can have 5-slot or 10-slot chassis. Okay? It all offers the advantages of the 6300, but it goes beyond by adding campus aggregation or you can also use this for data center. So okay, so the next one would be our data center switches. So we have this entry level, we call it the 8320. So we already have a big switching capacity here, around 2.5 terabytes. So as mentioned, this is not only for data center, but you can use it also for the campus. So we can use it as a core switch in your campus. It's already a big switching capacity. Okay, so the technology used here is what we call the VSX with the live upgrades as mentioned earlier. So we can also have already redundant hot swappable power and fans here. So we can offer 40 gig connectivity here also. Okay, so the next one would be the 83325. So 83325 is if you have for the data center, if you're requiring 100 gig ports. Okay, so mas maganda dito pag example you need it for servers. Okay, and also if you want segmentation, like for example VXLAN. So this is VXLAN ready, so capable for in your data center. Okay, so it's already have 6.4 terabytes of switching capacity. So it has a lot of purposes. It can be used top of rack. It can be used as end of row, or for example, whatever. You can also use it as a middle of row. So it can scale based on your demands. So our new switch is just having a mix of feature on the 8320 and the 8325 is 8360. So the reason why doing this switch is just the same for the 8325 and the 8320. It's just that we have a different configuration for this one. We have a smaller density for 40 gig and 100 ports. So this one is having 12 ports only. Okay. So you can also have 24 ports with 1G/10G capacity. Okay. So also we can have 16 ports of what you call this 40 gig and 100 gig ports. Okay. So the best thing about this I mentioned is they are all compact 1RU form factor and with high speed ports ranging from 1 gig, 10 gig, 25 gig, 40 gig, and 100 gig. Okay, so you can use it as fine switch in your network on your data center. Okay, so we can take advantage of the rich feature set of this in your including BGP, OSF, and like best LAN, VXLAN. Okay, so in your virtualization. So the last is 8400. So the 8400 is our campus core, and also we can use this or aggregation. Okay, so you can use it also for data center. So as mentioned, this is just the same as the other switches, but there's 8-slot chassis that can provide you with a 19.2 terabyte switching capacity. So you can just probably choose whatever switch that I mentioned earlier. So for you to have a summary of what are the differences of our switches, let's take a look on this table. So coming from here, the 6100, the 6100 can be included or can be orchestrated but are not edit, but it doesn't have the NAE. So all of these switches, this is going for the enterprise because 6100 is intended for the SMB, okay? And it doesn't have also the always on PoE. So for the always on PoE, we have that in the 6200, 6300, and 6400. And you can also see the different the different virtualization here. For this one, we have BSF, and this one we already have the VSX. Okay, so also the deployment here. So you can just probably see the table here comparison. So now, what will be our advantage over the competition? So the vendor as other like for example their vendor lock-in. So now we have one operating model for the CX portfolio from end to end. Okay, so we also have mentioned, I also have mentioned like we have embedded analytics in every switch. Okay, instead of having this and the like for example in one over the top of the network management. So we also have what we call yung I mentioned kanina yung cloud native OS. Okay, so with that we will have intelligent automation. So also we're already having the 7th gen ASIC. We can take advantage of that. We're having the non-blocking switching architecture. Okay, so the most important I think also is we're also seeing the price of what is the prices of the switches. So now we can offer you 50G for the price of 10G, especially for the 6300. Okay, so the uplink of the 6300 is actually up to 50G, but you'll only pay for the 10G. And lastly, we have like what make it easy to do business with Aruba is we have a model that works for our customers, so we can eliminate licensing software, software licensing. I mean, so not having any full feature licensing on the switch. So sometimes we have to pay for the license like advanced or any other whatever enterprise or whatever feature they have. So with our CX, you don't have any extra licenses for the software, okay, or no subscription cost, except if you want to avail or like for example the management, which is different from this the switch itself. So the switch itself doesn't require you to have or to subscribe anything, so all is free. and you don't have to buy anything else. So everything is there. Okay, so we take this in a simplified approach, and we don't have a complex software licensing or subscription. Okay, so I think this is the best that we can offer you against our competitors. Okay, so here our Aruba CX ecosystem. So what we have, so we have what we call the flexible consumption I mentioned earlier. So we can take advantage of the HP GreenLake, or we can take advantage of financial services for if you want to have leasing. So we already have services and support. Okay, so we have 24/7 TAC for those customers that availed our foundation care for Aruba. Okay, so we also have Aruba Professional Services X migration, and lastly we have a services arm, which is the HP Global, HP Point Next Global Services. Okay, and with this one we already have built our community from the ground. So we have airheads where you can search, like for example, whatever use case there, whatever problem. Okay, so if you want to choose for like solution, you can search for Aruba Solution Exchange. And if you want to integrate automation, so we have a lot here that can do integration. So like for example, we have libraries on GitHub, or also we can leverage Python programming, which is really easy for you, the developers, to automate and program our customized solutions on top of our product. So as mentioned, Miki, we're also market leader. So we've been a market leader now, or we have been named a leader for the wired and wireless LAN infrastructure in Gartner Magic Quadrant. So this is now over for 15 years. So 15 years of maintaining this is quite a feat already. So we've been leader in both switching and wireless, which speaks to the ability of our organization to deliver a complete vision of our customers, as well as our execution in the marketplace. Okay, so that would be all, and thank you. So if you have questions, guys, so I can also answer them.
For Edward, AI-powered operation, is that an automated response, or we need to set a policy for that?
Okay, so our AI powered operation, so it's based on our Aruba Central. So it is more of getting the telemetry for, like example, all of those data that we've gathered in our switches now. So yung lahat ng mga nakuha na, like I think you're asking if it's more of we need to policy set for that. So with this one, yung sa AI powered operation natin is it can probably say yung na-mention ko is it can help you with benchmarking to compare. So you don't have to set anything or any policies with that. So it can just automatically detect, or any, I would say, like for example sa wireless natin, it can help you with if there's any problem with your RF. Okay, so it can give you recommendations on what to do. So just there's no need to set for policy for that. Okay, so that would be our AI powered operations. So next would be what about the new variant of malware? So can AI ops detect there is also, so I would say this. So the zero trust security is just more of a model, no? So model by the industry, the security industry. So what we can do is also contribute them. So if you want to have, like example, preventive measures on the 0-day or the new variant of malware, so we're adding the, like for example, the capabilities of your firewall in the network. So yung sa firewall nyo is more of the network side going to the internet. So yung sa ano naman namin, yung zero trust security namin is from the edge. So we're the firewall between, if you're connecting on the device. So if you can imagine, may firewall ka sa network on top, and then may firewall ka din sa devices mo on switch level or na access point level na meron doon. So yun yung firewall natin. So it doesn't mean na we can detect the new variant or 0-day, but it will complement on what's existing in your network. Okay, so can AI ops detect and restore the deleted footprint of a ransomware? So for this one, I don't think we can, but as I help you, we can help leverage that capability of your firewall, because we're just also modeling this zero trust security. I mean, we're just basing on the model of the zero trust security in the industry. So we're focusing more. But hopefully, baka meron tayo dyan, because we're not venturing more on the security products, but we're actually helping you to complement the security products in your network. Okay. So next one would be Aruba Dynamic Segmentation can replace Windows Server GPO for device. That would be a different one, because yung Windows Server GPO, I think, is for management on your Windows devices. No? So what I mean with the dynamic segmentation is more on the policy. So yung paggawa natin ng policy para sa mga devices natin, medyo mahirap kasi. Like for example, magkabit tayo sa port na to. So we will have to do manual VLAN. This is VLAN 2, and then it will have its own ACL. And then port 2 iba rin, port 3 iba rin. So what we will do is automate it on, we can like have a more of dynamic roles for each port na magko-connect. So it can have a rich context. It can also be a different one, like what time the guest or the employee should be accessing the network, when and where, yung mga ganon. So pwede ba maka-access yung device niya? So it's a different technology, or it's a different concept. So no, it cannot replace the Windows Server GPO, but it's for a different purposes. Okay. So what is the standard warranty to offer for CX model? Okay, the standard warranty is 5 years. Okay. So but we can also offer you with the what we call Aruba Foundation Care for immediate replacement for the next business day. So I think this is more of typical na ino-offer natin, because kung wala yon, that would be the best effort. Okay? So actually, we have also it's different from the like, it's all what we call also like limited lifetime now. So is the new HP Aruba switches already as a network automation and the SDN enabled? Okay, so yes, yung sa switches natin meron na siyang SDN enabled, but it's of a different concept. Kasi pag sinabi nating software defined networking, it can be more of SDN, more on automation sa configuration, for example, packet automation. So what I would answer there is SDN or automation for the configuration and orchestration. So yeah, meron na tayo. It will be through our Aruba Central. So okay. So can the link be for feedback be so iba pala yan. So how safe is ClearPass Policy Manager? Okay. So ClearPass Policy Manager is a wonderful tool or software, because aside from it will give you policy for users, it can be as a radio server. It is also vendor agnostic. So wala siyang pinipiling brand. So you can connect, for example, you can get authentication from your Windows server, from the AD directory. We can get from any other sources, like if you have mobile device management and everything. So pwede natin siya ma-integrate sa mga existing natin. So to make that policy. So probably it is an upgrade for, I would say, yung sa Windows. It's in the tip of my tongue, sorry. It's NPO, yeah. So but it's more of an upgrade for that, because it can aside from giving you the role-based policy, it can have yung like example, we can trace the device on what type of devices it is. Okay, so yan yung kagandahan niya. Okay, so what kind of authentication and encryption service security does Aruba when using or connecting into the devices via the mobile app? Okay, so is it relating when you're connecting to the network, or is it related to the mobile app dun sa switches? Okay, so I believe I think there's no encryption or security there as of the moment, but you can turn off that functionality, because yung intended natin doon para sa CX mobile app, para doon sa switch, is for 0-day configuration or the day 1 or day 0 configuration. So after that, we will maintain it with the net edit. So you can just remove the Bluetooth dongle in the switch, and then that's okay. And I think it's more proprietary. You cannot connect any other dongle there. So I think that's more of the security purposes there. Is there a buyback promo? I think Leyland or yeah, Mickey, do we have a buyback promo for the our switches? But I think yeah, we can get back to you, sir. You can just probably contact us, and probably we'll just have, I mean, something in store for you. So I'm not aware of any promotion right now, but probably Mickey has. So using your new integrated approach and the discussed profile, what do you think is the advantage of HP over any other network devices? Okay, so using our integrated. So the advantage of this is we're thinking of yung legacy nung sa switches. Before kasi, ang ginagawa lang natin sa switch is more of just connect and forget. We don't deal a lot of more of security policy. So yung policy natin is more on the ACL. It's not very dynamic. And medyo mahirap kasi it's more of complicated to implement because it's per port. Okay? So with this one, yung advantage natin with the help of ClearPass, we can just automatically create them. And like for example, magko-connect ako kasi for example, mag-regodon ka ng sa isang office, utusan tayo na, okay, i-regodon natin, tapos yung ports magkalipat-lipat. Di ba ang hirap nun? Magre-reconfigure ka ulit sa switch kasi nabago ulit yung policy nila. So with this one, we can now have what we call colorless ports. So it will follow whatever the policy. So yun yung maganda. And also, it doesn't have that, like for example, yung sa security, it can all help you, like for example, it can prevent you from not connecting to the network. It can what's the term? So there's a term also in my mind. I'm sorry, it's a tip in my thing. So parang if i-filter niya, so mag ano siya kung i-allow ba siya ng network kung papasukin siya dun sa network kasi hindi naman siya like naka-comply, like hindi updated yung Windows. So hindi siya yung version ng Windows na require natin, hindi updated yung antivirus, something mga ganon. So yan yung pinaka-advantage natin over the other vendors. Okay, so and even if you're not going to have, like for example, first, like example, kasi mahirap namang investment natin. Sabihin na meron na kayong switches, meron na kayong existing in place, and you want to implement ClearPass. Yes, it can do because it's a vendor agnostic. So from there, we can start making the policy. So pag meron na, for example, magre-refresh na kayo, gusto nyo na. So yes, we can actually easily integrate them. So can we manage Aruba CX with the IMC? If yes, what's the minimum version? As of the moment, I think there's only minimal to that. I think ang kaya niya is the SNMP protocol only. So it's not more of the management, it's only more of the monitoring. Okay, so sir, what for you, what is your preferred wireless access point to Aruba switches? Okay, so okay, preferred wireless access point to Aruba switches. So if I say the preferred wireless access point to our Aruba switches, there's a lot. I would prefer the new access points, which is the Wi-Fi 6, because ang kagandahan ng Wi-Fi 6 is na-optimize yung hindi kaya ng Wi-Fi 5, which is the AC, no? So with the advent of Wi-Fi 6, meron na tayo, nabalik natin yung 2.4. So meron na tayong MIMU, MU MIMU for both the 2.4 of 5 gig. So mas pinalakas na. So yun yung maganda. So with regards to the model, kung anong model na pipilian ko, anything, it can work. So it depends on what's your purpose of the access or ano yung paglalagyan natin access point. Okay. Is the new HP Aruba portfolio compatible with other network devices such as Cisco? Yes, we are using open standard protocols. So except for some, so obviously you cannot stack it with any other brand. So, but we can interoperate through other, like for example, if you want to have link aggregation, we can interconnect. So with routing, it's just a standard. So anything, yes, we can work with other network devices. So up to how many AP can connect without controller? So right now we have what we call the IAP. So we have 100 up to, I think, yeah, 125 AP that can be more of an independent. But I wouldn't recommend, say, use that 125 AP para sa instant AP natin kasi meron naman tayong siguro ang magiging difference if you have the controller is it would offload yung yung pagma-manage yung mga policy doon. So lalo na yung yung sa yung sa kasi maliit lang yung processing yung power ng AP eh. So ang IAP kasi meron tayong tinatawag na virtual controller na mag-a-act na isang AP. So if it will manage the 125, so okay lang sana kung nag-ano lang, walang ibang feature na pinapa-on. So okay lang 'yon. But if there would be any other feature such as yung tawag noon, yung air match 'yon. So medyo mahirap. Okay. So what is the advantage of the SDN network than traditional networking when implementing the okay. So as mentioned, yung advantage ng SDN networking over the traditional. So ang traditional kasi natin, 'di ba, kino-connect lang natin tapos hindi pinapabayaan na natin. So with the advent of SDN, whether it could be any other brand, so yun magiging automated na tayo. So in terms of sa CX, kasi CX naman natin kung ano yung magiging advantage natin, aside from pricing, yung sinabi ko sa inyo na wala tayong licensing required, yun yung pwedeng makapag cost saving sa'yo. So, isa doon is we can leverage yung Aruba Central. So, Aruba Central is a cloud native single pane of glass management for our switches. So, you can do stacking from there. You can do management. So, you can do AI. We can for example, ang ibig kong sabihin is meron tayo dong mga tools, AI tools na pwede nating i-take advantage na wala dun sa ibang SDN. Kasi pag sinabi mong SDN, more of automation lang eh. Automation para dun sa configuration. Automation na kung may bago kang device i-connect, okay, bibigyan ng configuration. But it doesn't have the intelligence. So, yun yung magiging different natin kasi meron tayong Aruba Central. And hindi ka limited kung paano mo siya i-deploy. Like for example, gusto mo ng cloud, okay, we can use the cloud. But if you want na, ayoko na maging cloud, okay, you can implement the Aruba Central on-prem. So, that's the advantage there. We have the intelligence.
Congratulations to all the winners. And before we close the program, I would like to thank everyone who joined up to the top of the hour. I would like to extend my gratitude, especially to our partners, to Edward and to Mickey, for always supporting our initiatives in providing this kind of tech updates to our customers. To our customers who spent your time today, thank you so much for spending your morning with us, and we'd love to help you with your IT and digital transformation projects. For inquiries, you may contact directly your sales, your account managers assigned to you, or you can email us at sales@fieldata.com, and you can also follow our social media channels on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We are One Field Data. Once again, everyone, congratulations and thank you for joining. That is the end of our program for this morning. This has been Switch Forward with Aruba CX. Thank you.
Network operators have two big challenges. They need to support the evolving demands of digital businesses, but also ensure the network remains stable and secure. That's no easy task. Current networks are complex. Fragmented, closed architectures impede programmability and the adoption of new technology. A lack of visibility doesn't provide the actionable insights needed for proper planning or troubleshooting. And operators can't keep pace with manual processes, where each change increases the risk of error and downtime. So how can IT deliver? That's where Aruba comes in. With the Aruba CX switching portfolio, a cloud-native networking solution designed for complete operational simplicity. It starts with AOS CX, a microservices-based operating system built for network agility and 100% programmability. AOS CX features a database-driven design and full REST API coverage. It enables tight integration between infrastructure and tools from multiple vendors and helps streamline workflows across multiple systems. The Aruba CX mobile app and Aruba NetEdit add further simplicity. The mobile app speeds up the installation of new switches. One-touch provisioning based on pre-built templates saves time and reduces errors. With Aruba NetEdit, a configuration automation tool, you can roll out network-wide changes with ease and check instantly for errors and policy conformance to improve operator efficiency and network uptime. If problems arise, the Aruba Network Analytics Engine helps detect and isolate issues quickly. It captures and pre-processes telemetry directly on each node, so operators get distributed analytics and real-time visibility into network health. NAE also predetermines many first and second order diagnostic actions, so troubleshooters can focus on a targeted set of root causes and resolve issues faster. Aruba CX's unmatched combination of programmability, automation, and analytics simplifies day-to-day operations across the network lifecycle by accelerating new deployments, instantly validating that changes are successful and error-free, enabling software upgrades with zero downtime, and identifying issues and areas for improvement proactively, all with a single operational model from campus to data center to improve IT collaboration and efficiency. Make the switch to Aruba CX to enable a next-gen network operator experience. Find out more at arubanetworks.com/CX.